Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones. Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we dare to open the secret box that is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert, and I'm a little bit nervous to look inside.
I'm Tom Taylor, and I'm hiding inside waiting to scare Pete.
I'm Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
All right.
I got a little bean stuck in the back of my hanging.
Foster Brooks over here.
It's hanging onto my uvula. I need a sign on my uvula that says "keep off." Okay, I'm better.
And I'm Father David Mowry, and I'm scheduling an appointment with my dentist because my fillings just came out.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
That happens.
They should write that on the
back,
box.
Father David. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me back. Yeah, well, I those metal crowns that the dentist told me, it was really great, very solid, going to keep the teeth really looking sharp, but now kind of regretting that decision, I got to say. Going to go with ceramic next time. That should be better.
Yeah.
Yes, those iron cobalt fillings could be a problem with this.
I paid top dollar for them, too.
Those are going to leach into your bloodstream anyway. You did the right thing.
Well, look, you don't get superpowers if you don't take any risks.
That's
true. This is true.
Fair enough.
And talking about leaching into bloodstreams, we are talking about minute 12 today. And minute 12 begins with a very, very Raiders-like scene of men opening a crate with a crowbar. And it ends, appropriately enough, given our guest today, with a Russian Father Mulcahy opening the crate.
Comrade
Russian
O'Reilly.
Father, yeah. That sounds like an oxymoron. A Russian Father Mulcahy.
He looks
Yeah.
a lot like him. I mean,
Yeah,
we might have to
no,
get a
it's
ruling
true.
from Tierney, but to me, he looks a lot like. I think it's like glasses.
Well, who wants to know the etymology of the crowbar?
Ooh.
Yes, Tommy, I knew you'd be.
Oh,
most-
I do. Yes, please. Me. I have
Well,
my hand raised.
it's a reference to the bird because the bar perhaps resembles the beak or feet of a crow. It's also known as a wrecking bar, a pry bar, a pinch bar, a jimmy bar, or a pigfoot.
A pigfoot.
Yeah, which I wish
Who
somebody
calls
had
it a
asked for a
pigfoot?
pig. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah. Where's your mind when you're calling it a pigfoot? Although it does kind of make sense. I've seen pigs' feet, like when
Yeah.
you go to the petting zoo or something.
Cloven hoofed sort of fellas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish
I like
somebody.
Jimmy Bar. Jimmy Bar sounds delicious.
Yeah, I like Jimmy
A Jimmy
Bar.
Bar, and you know what's
Yeah.
great about it is
Mm.
Jimmy Bar. I think about this. You're like, okay, so sometimes you use the word Jimmy as a verb. Like, damn it, I can't
yeah.
Jimmy open this lock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let me Jimmy Peter's locker.
Gross.
Jimmy it open. Yeah.
Family program, Jerry.
Put a used jackstrap in there. So yes. There's a frenetic, almost violent tone to this crate opening.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, it feels unbelievably like Raiders, and I wonder if Spielberg is doing one of his little famous fake outs that he did a lot of last movie,
Hmm.
and he wants everybody one last time to think this is definitely the Ark of the Covenant.
It does look like the opposite of this shot of them nailing the crate shut at the very end of Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the same setup, but the opposite thing is happening.
yeah.
They're opening it up. But then it also looks like Creepshow when they're opening up the crate with a monster in it.
They're really it's what I want to know is it's like I said, it's kind of like hurried and granted the guy said hurry do it. There's like a
Stage
violence. Yeah, there's like a violence to it almost, and it's almost haphazard. And I'm wondering, so is that because like there's an Area 51 silent alarm somewhere? Or you would think that Actually, there would be an Area 51 alarm somewhere. Where's the alarm?
You would think that, actually.
Where's the alarm? Like,
Even
how
if
come
there is an
nobody
alarm, no one's
knows,
around to hear it.
Yeah. Well, so did they shoot it and kill everybody at Area 51? I mean, that's not possible. They like
There was that
attacked
big,
a gate.
There was that big Star Wars-y sounding explosion right before they went in. I wonder if that knocked out any kind of security stuff. Or
No,
something.
it did. But for
There's
some
like
reason,
one old guy sitting in a chair behind
Yeah.
the door.
I wondered. So no one else knows they're there or would have any idea. They came in that one gate. They killed like 6 or 7 dudes.
Mhm.
They blew up the little, the Honeywell security system. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, for the highest security place on Earth.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, they're not in any hurry either. Like, they banter a little bit. They're not being quiet at all. They drive all their trucks right up, and they're
For something that says keep off, they're not handling it with kid gloves.
Oh wait, isn't
No.
the first time we see the base, the guy says that the base is closed for
that's true. So
whatever.
maybe
That's
they
true.
do know
Teacher
that the test
conferences
is
or
about to
whatever?
happen. Yeah, for teacher
Yeah.
conferences.
Sorry, we're cleaning the base, so it's all closed now.
Yeah.
Area 51's closed because we're cleaning it.
Sorry, your tickets will be redeemed next Thursday if you come back. So yeah, I mean, maybe I wonder if the Russians picked this time exactly. Did
Yeah.
you say this already? I don't even know. But like pick this exact time because it'd be like undermanned or something.
But then later they seem not to realize what's about to happen. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, their intelligence is good, but not that good, as it turns out.
And we found out why it was so easy to get into Area 51.
Yeah.
Go?
Yes. It's quite a coincidence. I love the sound effect and like when the crowbars like clink against the box and you kind of hear that.
Yeah.
And also the box looks very, very Star Warsy.
Oh yeah,
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You give us a hand with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
It does look like the scanner box. Yeah.
So I'm curious: is that a sarcophagus, or do they have that box over and over again, and then they put whatever magical or amazing relic or whatever, the Ark of the Covenant, in there, and that's their standard box, and then they crate it. So
It
it's
looked like
like
the
is-
Ark was just in the crate.
Yeah.
It was
That's
like naked
true.
in
Yeah.
the crate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the script it says
Which is hilarious.
yeah.
The Ark is naked in the crate.
Well, they toss
Yeah.
some like whatever wood shavings in there, whatever. Some
Yeah, a
do you
little
call
bubble
it?
wrap.
some straw, some bubble wrap.
Some packed
The,
air.
the corn. Have you guys encountered that cornstarch puffball wrap that you can ship stuff in?
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
think I
The
know
one
what you're
that,
talking about.
yeah, it's like popcorn. Like packing peanuts, but you can take it over to the sink
And dissolve it.
and turn the faucet
No.
on, and it
Yeah.
disappears.
It's a party.
No, I haven't seen
Yeah.
this. Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. And what's funny is if you think you have those, but you don't.
Oh, if you get it wrong.
Yeah, you get all the packing peanuts in your disposal.
Yeah, it gums up your disposal something fierce.
Ugh.
Do you, Pete? You haven't seen that, Father David? You guys haven't
No.
seen those?
No.
Oh, you haven't lived.
Yeah,
apparently.
it's brilliant. It's
I feel a sudden poverty in my life that I
I
didn't
know.
know.
It's
Oh
not
my
too
gosh,
late.
I've been missing out. I have to go out and see
Dear
the
Amazon,
world.
please send me anything.
Well, I just got deodorant from Amazon today, and they have this packed air stuff that I got to take to the
Yeah.
grocery store to the plastic bag recycling there. I
Yeah,
can't put
see.
this down the sink.
No.
Yeah, I always get those airbags.
Yeah.
Me too. They're reasonably fun. They make a loud noise when you pop them,
Yeah.
but they don't
I
dissolve.
like- we have like the worst of those when you buy an 8-pack of juice bottles and you get those plastic rings,
Oh yeah.
and then because I always want to cut them with the scissors so that birds don't get their necks caught in them,
hmm
but I'm always too lazy to do it. So like our refrigerator has like 20 of those like, just waiting to be cut.
You just leave like one can attached to it, so you don't
Yeah,
have to
so,
cut it up
yes, someone else has to do it.
You living alone? Yeah.
I am now.
Yeah. Dear Pete, I can't take this anymore. Drink the last soda.
It's like the stack of old egg cartons we have on top of the fridge in the staff lounge. Because some of the pre-staff will make breakfast in the morning here, and they don't recycle the egg cartons. They just stack them up, and we've got 20 to 30 of these empty egg cartons on top of the fridge. And no one seems to know who put them there, and so no one knows who should take them off. So they just keep piling up.
Don't you guys often you offer and own the confessional?
Oh yeah.
It's okay. You can go to the anonymous side.
Right. I think by process of elimination, you should be able to triangulate which one of you did it. Like if each of you is giving confession to the next one,
or how about the dude who cooked the eggs?
you never see who the last person to take that last egg is. Somehow no one's ever around for that.
Yeah.
Someone who comes in at 10:30 after everyone's had breakfast, and they just make one egg and then put the carton on top of the fridge.
I knew it. Priests are bad people too.
Look, we're only human. I'm not going to sit here and deny that.
In my dark moment, I took the last egg.
For your penance, please go out in the garbage and cut all the pop can rings.
Right.
Pete's not going to do it.
Yeah. So at second 25, we see all, the other opened and smashed crates and the metal detritus on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that?
I have lots of questions about that.
Thank you.
Are they frantically throwing crates on the ground and don't care what it is? And
No,
they're
they
smashed?
didn't. Yeah, there's no smashed and open crates.
Is this what happens when you don't keep off? Like that Indy climbed up all those crates and said keep off.
And if you look at it, it's like it's like a Jack-in-the-Box exploded.
Yeah.
It's like industrial. It's like a military grade Jack-in-the-Box.
Yeah, because there's this little metal box with a mechanism in it, and there's
it's like a truck kit.
And in the
build your own truck.
I like that in the background on one of them, there's like an apple with a bite out of it. And I'm
really?
Yes, I swear to God. One of it's like there's a lot of metal detritus and that sort of ball bearings and springs, Jack-in-the-Box parts.
Yeah.
And then there's it looks like two apples and one has a bite out of it. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And you're knowing what this place is, that's got to be the apple that's munched from the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, it's got to be
like the original one. It's like that's maybe why the Ark of the Covenant isn't that big of a deal. It's like we actually already got the apple.
Just put that over in the Old Testament section. I don't care where.
Yeah.
When we're near the apples, this one. That's funny. Yeah, that's what it is. These atheist commie pinkos, they have no appreciation for these biblical artifacts.
Apple schmapple.
It's just smashed and left there.
Aw.
But that is weird. I didn't even think to wonder about where all this stuff is coming from. Like they only moved like one or two crates out of the way to get to this one.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, and also if they're in this giant top secret military warehouse. And they're from Russian intelligence, and every one of these boxes says Army intelligence, keep out. Like, why aren't they just grabbing every box in sight? It's like that, that shopping game show where you try to grab everything in the aisle. It's like, why aren't they just grabbing every crate and throwing it in the back of a car?
Right. It's like Homer Simpson and the Land of Chocolate. Chocolate, half price. But then I guess they would probably think going in, well, you know what? We got one truck, maybe two trucks. We can't take everything, so let's just not go nuts. Let's not even bother.
But then the irony
just has an apple in it. We're not going to find anything.
But the irony is, how are they going to put this like hyper magnetized thing in a truck?
Yeah,
I mean, the truck should be like rolling back towards them right now.
Yeah,
that's what's really weird. They go through. They go to they pay attention to the detail of the metal in this minute. Like all the metal on the floor is rolling. Their dog tags are attracted to it. Her sword goes through and everything.
For crying out
loud. Yeah, the lamps.
Yeah.
It's like, now you're paying a lot of attention to it, but you should have been paying attention to it like 2 or 3 minutes ago.
You should have walked into the warehouse and see all those lamps are angled
I think,
to the same part of the
Yeah.
warehouse.
I think
Why
it's
is
over
that?
there. Yeah.
And also, it seems like they will stop paying attention to it after the next minute or two.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like it's very, yeah. We just have
Weirdly
to, maybe it's
selective
good-
magnetism.
Yeah, it's good you're here, Father David. There's a lot we have to take on faith in these minutes.
I don't know how much
So
faith
if-
has to do with it.
Well, so if somebody sort of storyboarded this to you and go, okay, so check it out. We're in the ending room of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and we're looking for a crate, and
Okay.
Indy's brought there, and we're in
Okay.
the storage fit, yeah, and everybody's, you know, we're searching, and you think it might be the Ark, and Indy knows where it is, and there's a secret way he knows it's magnetized, and then we finally get to the crate, and it's not the Ark of the Covenant.
Well, what is it?
Like, are you buying that? Is that a good story?
I like that actually. I because I thought it was the Ark, and when it wasn't, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm intrigued.
Like, is that a cool way to start an Indiana Jones movie?
I don't know. See, I knew too much about this movie when I saw it the first time because I knew the general plot thread after hearing so much about it. So when I watched this the first time, I didn't expect them to be looking for the Ark.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
My anticipation was they were looking for something related to crystal skulls and aliens or ancient who knows what's it's. But the Ark didn't really factor into it. Plus, like I said earlier, I wouldn't expect atheist commie pinkos to be looking for the Ark of the Covenant because that really wasn't their bag. That wasn't
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
were into. That was the Nazis thing. They were looking for supernatural power wherever you could get it, but the communists were much more scientifically minded.
Right.
And didn't she say she was really like vaguely specific like a few minutes ago, like last week or something? She was like, she was talking about mummified remains and a project that he was involved in, like a certain there were all sorts of signs that they were not looking for the Ark.
There are a lot of things you
Yeah.
could say are in the Ark. Mummified remains is not really on
Sure.
my list.
Right.
But if you have sort of a vague understanding of it or a vague memory of it, I think it could still, like, it could fall within the realm of possibility. And we're used to cold open, or like not cold opens, but we're used to like a little adventure before the adventure in these
Right.
movies.
right.
So I think I was still kind of expecting this to be the Ark, and then he'd find the Ark and whatever, and then he'd go on and look for the crystal skull or whatever was going to happen in the movie.
I mean, I thought it was the Ark, and I have to say, I just pitched that to myself,
Mhm.
and I really liked it. I mean, I don't know about it's not necessarily worth the ending of Raiders. I, of course, don't like that at all. But it is. I could roll with it when I think about it that way, which makes me think this is an interesting opening. I guarantee I'm going against everything I said last week. The idea is, clever. I will say that. Now we're at minute 12. The idea is clever. Like, we're in the place they store the Ark, but they're not looking for the Ark. Oh my God, what could it be?
Mm-hmm.
And they do capture that a lot of energy right here. Especially, it comes forth in this minute. That's what I'm saying. Like, God, that's crazy. And there's something like, I'm anxious. Like, even the way that they film it and the crowbars are sticking, and you're like, oh my God, what is in there?
Well, and Father David, you were talking about last minute how Spielberg's movies are always really well paced and fun, and the action keeps moving.
Yeah.
And this movie, like, it just zips along, and you like everything about it. You're like, wow, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fantastic. I think this beginning is great.
Yeah, it's terrible that this minute ends and we don't know what's in the box. What's in the box? I need to know what's in the box. We just open the lid and what happens next? I don't know.
Big lake lamp.
Which is really impressive
major
given that
reward.
this minute has one line of dialogue and it's in Russian.
Which, by the way, it was do it, hurry.
More of that, huh? When they're carrying the
Still with
box.
the song.
Yeah.
Hurry, move your legs. Now breathe.
I'm hurrying.
lift from the legs.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah,
gonna
don't
look
lift from your back, lift from your legs. Come on, guys.
Look,
you know this.
The Chachapoyan Temple had several ingenious alarm systems.
Yeah.
This has nothing.
Yeah. It's Washington bureaucracy.
All right. Pete, you mentioned Father Mulcahy at the very end of this minute here, and he's opening the Ark, and it's interesting, and not the Ark. He's opening the crate, the whatever it is. And he has glasses, and he seems like the smart one of the bunch. But he only
Jerry just got glasses, by the way.
Oh, I thought I detected a heightened level of intelligence in the podcast. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. That explains it.
It blew my mind. It did. I put him on, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like
The square root of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square.
I'd been living in like a Monet painting until I put these things on. I had no idea how dangerous I was. But yeah, this guy, he seems like he's kind of the smart, he'd be the Pete Mummer of the communist bunch. But he only has one stripe. Like he
would be the Pete Mummer to the communist bunch.
the smartest guy. He's like a private. I want to know, did they choose him for some special reason, or like did he lose a bet?
He's the most expendable. So if something goes wrong when they open up the crate, well, comrade, your service to the fatherland will be long remembered. Salute.
Right. Or do you think, you wonder, like, how old was he when, Belloc opened the Ark of the Covenant? He was probably like 2 or 3, maybe 6, maybe 8, right? It's 20 years ago.
I don't know if he was born yet. That was.
He's a young looking chap.
Yeah, I would think so.
Or chaplain, if you will, and your Father Mulcahy. I wonder if he was worried about opening these types of things.
Yeah, I wonder if they have any idea what they're. I wonder if the soldier, like other than Spalko, I wonder if anyone has any idea what they're even.
How much
doing,
of a briefing did they get
be.
going into this? I mean, they're already on edge because they're on enemy soil. They're in an enemy base.
Yeah,
they know the base is deserted because they're doing weapons testing. Who knows what that could mean?
Right.
All
they got was don't shoot the British guy. He might be on our side. That's all they know.
And keep off.
Yeah,
keep off.
Well, they obviously didn't do that. And what's the British guy doing this whole time? Like he's just
standing there.
Scenery.
Yeah. Picking people's pockets. Like nobody. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why no one has a gun on Mac or Indy at this point.
Yeah, why is Indy still alive?
Yeah.
Why? We found the crate. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Kabam. Because they know Dr. Jones. They know his reputation. This is not a man you just want to leave loose.
No. He's a toy.
Although they do know that he did research on the crate, so maybe she thinks he still has knowledge about what's inside. But yeah, that's a good point you make.
He may yet be of some use to us.
When you look at Second 53, I mean, it looks like Christmas morning on the floor of this warehouse. And where's all that it's like they've opened, 40 crates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, where did this car come from? Like, maybe they drove. Maybe
well,
they just
remember the
smashed
guy
into a bunch of
George the Russian did say yesterday. They said somebody said start the car.
Yeah, and in the script, it actually he tells them to start the car, like in English.
So they got bored while they're waiting for the cars and trucks to get there, so they just decided to smash some government
crack a couple things open.
Yeah.
See what's inside. They got bored.
See if they can find Betty Grable.
Now I'm really wondering if there was a deleted scene here that we're missing.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah!
Aren't you the man at arms of deleted scenes?
I used to be, but yeah. I'll see what I can track down.
Need to open up that box there, Private Pete. See what's inside.
Yeah.
Speaking of man at arms, speaking of deleted scenes, speaking of Christmas morning. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Coming over the wire. I'm sorry, Father David.
That's fine. I know what I'm getting. Well, look, when you ask me on the show, I know that means I have 3 days of questions from Professor Christy Porter. I live for this, Jerry. Bring it on.
Well, this one, first of all, there's a preface. I think class got out a few days ago for Professor Christy Porter. So she said, I did anagrams for Father David Mowry.
Oh.
And came up with a drafty hived worm. Homeward
All right.
Friday TV. Hydra dwarf
bad.
vomit. I don't know. You know, every once in a while, like once a week or every 2 weeks, it's some that are just way out.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna pick up those. Okay, so Father David, question.
I feel like you woke her up or
Yeah.
something. I was like in a deep sleep. You're like, hey,
I just see Christy sitting there like licking the end of the pencil, like vomit.
That'll
yeah,
mess
that's-
them
there you
up.
go.
She's got the lightning hat that Natalie would wear from Facts of Life. So once she was thinking really hard with the thunderbolt on it.
But I'm impressed she was able to get 3 out of that because there aren't a lot of vowels in my
Oh.
last name.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
usually presents some problems.
All right, so let's see.
But you go ahead, Jerry. You go ahead.
Hit. So speaking of, crates and boxes and surprises and relics and apples and arcs, whose or what relic would you like to unearth in this facility, Father David? If there was
in this
something
facility?
meaningful or spiritual or something that you think would be good, either personally or maybe that you could hand over to the cardinal and say, "Yo, I'm thinking about being bishop. Look what I found."
Well, if I did find something like that and hand it over to the cardinal, I say, okay, I found this. Now don't make me bishop, please. Don't want that job. Here, take this as proof. I've done my service to the church. Now please don't make me bishop. And B, I think it would be really moving to find, say, the spear of Longinus, the spear the centurion used to pierce the side of Christ, because that spear, after it pierced the side of Christ, there came out from his side blood and water gushing forth, and that detail has evoked so much rich meditation up and down the centuries in the Christian imagination that the blood and water represent the 2 sacraments from which all Christians derive their union with Christ, the water representing baptism and the blood representing Eucharist, that communion with Christ in his body and blood through the representation of the Lord's Supper. So to find the spear as that relic which pierced the body of Christ, which made contact even with his Sacred Heart, that would be very moving for me. I have a personal devotion to the Sacred Heart. I find that image of Christ's heart pierced for love of the human race so powerful and so moving. It speaks to the great unconditional love of God, that even though we keep smashing all of his crates, he still offers us every good gift, that the sun continues to shine on the good and the bad and the like, and he causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust. He continues to love us and gives us his own son, even though we treat the Son of God so maliciously and so cruelly. And yet even that spear becomes a sign of God's love, that he goes so far to be humiliated in death, even to have that dead body of his son pierced for love of a human race gone astray. That would be a very powerful moment. That would be very cool.
You working on Indy 5?
Mm.
You know something we don't know?
No, I'm
Well,
not.
Can I go?
But you know,
Can I go full Christy Porter here then?
Yes.
Are you? So I'm curious, because I know there are 2 versions of the staff of Longinus. There's one in Rome, right, at St. Peter's, and there's one in Vienna, like the famous one.
I believe so. I haven't
wondering,
done a lot of research on the spear of Longinus to
Does the
know
church?
where it is
I was wondering if the
exactly.
church recognized either of those, or if those are both sort of up in the air right now.
I mean, as so often happens with relics, there are lots of things that make a claim to it. Yeah, there's one in Rome, there's one in Vienna. It's just like how I think there are 3 skulls of John the Baptist that are floating around out there in the world. So which one is real? Who can say? Yeah. As for which is the real relic, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I think the fact that we can make a claim on it it reveals something important about Christianity, that we ground Christianity in a historical understanding, that there is a
Mhm.
reality to it, that there are artifacts that we can touch and interact with that have this connection to these events, which happened in a time and a particular place. It's what has been, up until this movie, one of the enduring themes of Indiana Jones. And this gets into kind of my major problem with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, is that it moves away from this kind of historical artifact as the central MacGuffin, as the central object of the quest. I mean, Raiders, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade, they're all about supernatural powers that have been reified, that is made tangible by certain artifacts. You have the Ark, you have the Sankara stones, you have the Holy Grail. All of these things make tangible something supernatural, that material creation is able to contain and communicate something of the divine. In the Catholic understanding, we see that as an expression of a sacramental imagination, that sacraments aren't just reminders to us of what God does, but actually contain and communicate God's activity, that they connect us to God in a real way. And in these movies, the spiritual powers ultimately remained unexplained, at least from a scientific perspective. We don't get an analysis of what really happened when they opened the Ark. We don't get a scientific explanation for how water poured from the Holy Grail is able to heal a bullet wound. It just does, because these things have this spiritual and supernatural connection. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is about something natural. Now, granted, something natural with psychic powers that are inherent to the thing, but there is nothing spiritual. We're talking about a skull of an alien or interdimensional being or whatever, but something that's of the world, something that doesn't have a divine or supernatural element to it. There's something paranormal, but not anything supernatural. And the things in the previous movies, the Ark, the stones, the Grail, there's nothing inherently magical about them. You can make a box of gold with two angels on the cover, but that doesn't make it the Ark. It's the history of the thing that makes it the Ark, how it has been brought into contact with the divine. The skull has these inherent properties, which doesn't make it sacramental. It hasn't become this effective symbol of something else, but rather it's magic. Because magic is ultimately something technical. There is something inherent to certain phrases, certain words, or certain rituals that are performed that have this effect. Sacramental things are the way they are because of history, because of relationship, because of a choice God or the divine powers have made. So to have this object now as something that is natural, that's a part of the quest, it just seems to betray something of Indiana Jones, something of the spirit of wonder in the thing. And it
this is an amazing point here. So
that was amazing. Yeah, that was
fantastic. Incredible.
Yeah.
Is this the point where Indiana Jones saga becomes secularized?
I feel like
that's what's frustrating here. There isn't this,
It feels that way to me. I mean, part of it is trotting out this ancient astronauts inspired plot here, which is always something that's very frustrating to me, because it attempts to take away the human imagination of the divine and say, oh, no, it was just aliens. All the gods, they were aliens. The appearance to Elijah, to Ezekiel, that's aliens. The gods and the ancient Egyptians, aliens. And it's just so boring. It flattens everything out, because then it just becomes another created thing within the created universe. And there is nothing transcendent about the ancient astronauts theory. It keeps everything within the realm of the mundane, within the realm of the secular. But to make it kind of attractive, you got to dress it up with some psychic powers and interdimensional travel and all this kind of whiz bang nonsense. The Indiana Jones has always, as a franchise, has always had that openness to, okay, well, there are powers that are beyond our comprehension, and the bad guys in the stories are always messing with things they shouldn't. Belloc and the Nazis, Molaram, Donovan are all after these things for their own power, and it ends up resulting in their karmic punishment, to use a phrase from a different religious tradition. In this movie, the punishment just feels obligatory rather than earned. The villain's face melts just because that's what happens in an Indiana Jones movie, not because she is getting her just desserts for tampering in things that are beyond her comprehension.
And also, this is the other ones are supernatural things we don't understand, a mystery, whatever.
Yeah.
This one is just, stuff that we haven't yet discovered.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that fair? And don't you think that it's sort of thematically appropriate that it's the atomic age and it's going to be something a little more, not that aliens are grounded, but a little more, I don't know, of the rational mind or something of science that is not yet understood or something, that's the mystery. I don't know. It makes sense to me that in the 50s, and not just the George Lucas idea of like it's the 50s, so we do a B movie kind of thing, but in the 50s and the atomic age, that there's something a little more. I agree with you completely about the history of Indiana Jones has been all about the spiritual supernatural element of the quest that he's on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me that in this movie set in the 50s, you could move away from that into a more, scientific realm.
Yeah, but then it's not an
quotes,
Indiana Jones story.
See, I 100% understand what you're saying, and I might completely agree, but I'm not sure. I wish that wasn't the key to Indiana Jones. I wish that he could just be a guy who has other kinds of adventures.
Well, here's why I say that. It's not because of the spiritual and supernatural aspect, though. That's a part of it. It's because you could have this story be totally the same and take away all of the South American parts of it.
Yes, that's
the
true.
history is totally ancillary to this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that feels to me like
it's all made up.
Like
too.
They're trying to put a Indiana Jones like sheen to a flying saucer story.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I never liked. Yeah, I never really bought that. And when you take away the religious component or super, I guess as you said, transcends the cosmos vibe. And you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Father David, but if it's aliens, we're still working within the cosmos,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's where it falls flat.
Yeah, you can tell me space between spaces and whatever the hell that means, but
sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it does. I mean this literally and sarcastically at the same time. It makes you wonder if they should have kept making Indiana Jones movies if they're bumping up against this kind of problem, just like for the very plot of the movie or the very MacGuffin of the movie.
Well, what I think was it an interesting commentary on where they were going, just like. I don't know. It's sort of the secularization of it all. It kind of wipes out the magic of the first three if they were going there. Oh, it's aliens. No, it'll all be explained by science.
Oh
someday.
my gosh, yeah. So if they had tied everything back to aliens,
the aliens are the architect of all
from
this
the previous
pain.
movies. Oh, I would have thrown my Bible through my TV screen.
Then
I've been in big trouble.
Yeah,
big trouble.
But I don't get that sense at all. I don't think they're trying to say
no, they're not.
Aliens are behind any religious or spiritual things going on. I think it's just this situation in this movie.
But the other three movies were also grounded in. I mean, Temple of Doom much less so, but we're grounded in. Like something that we could relate to in this world. And like you said, Father David, like the parts of this that take place in Peru could have happened anywhere. Like there's no history behind why they're going to Peru. Like there's no reason an archaeologist would need to go down to Peru to find this. Like it's just like they're looking for clues.
It's very light
this has
set
nothing to do
dressing. it could have easily
Yeah.
happened in Egypt or in the Mesopotamian basin, anywhere where there's a sufficiently old culture that has pyramid-like structures.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Right.
Nazca lines
Right.
are just a little throwaway bit that don't factor into the plot at all. They're just
Right.
part of a solution to a riddle.
And that sucks. Because I love the Nazca lines.
Yeah, they're really weird.
And that would have been something. Yeah. And I understand there is a natural tie in there with aliens or aerial being able to see from above, whatever you want to say. But they don't. You're right. They don't do much with that at all.
I would have the thing that would have kind of tied everything together if the ending of the movie was a little more ambiguous. That, if you had, because you don't want to have the villain be right that it is actually aliens, because that's boring. Just like in the other Indiana Jones movies, the villain is wrong about the object of the quest. That it's not exactly what they imagined it to be. If it had been a little more ambiguous to say, okay, well, it certainly looks like aliens, but actually this is something more supernatural, something that kind of goes beyond. I mean, really, it comes down to if we just didn't have the shot of the cartoon alien at the end of the movie, looking at the camera for the benefit of the 3D viewers.
Right.
I think I would be
wow
a little more.
Now I'm throwing my Bible at the TV screen. You're right.
Well, it's also this has a testable hypothesis, that
right?
Like this would change the Earth. Like you could build something if you know that there are multiple dimensions and spaces between spaces or whatever. You could build a physical link between them. You can't build a physical stairway, to heaven. And so this does. I like what you said. This makes it very mundane.
Yeah, and so that's for me. That's just the biggest problem with the movie. Now that said, I had fun watching it. There are very fun moments. Get to see Indiana Jones beat up some communists, so I can't be against that.
Sure.
Well, yeah. Thanks so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'm sure we're going to be exploring a lot of these as we go on, and we'll definitely be talking about the ancient alien question quite a bit. But in the meantime, is there any place you would like to send people, Father David, or any parting words you'd like to give everybody?
Parting words. It's always dangerous to give a professional preacher a pulpit. No, I mean, the thing that I would encourage everyone to pay attention to in this movie coming up is the theme of fatherhood, because I think it's actually a theme this movie handles pretty well. And it's something that Spielberg did well to build on after Last Crusade. And it's actually, the relationship between Indiana and Mutt, I actually really enjoyed. I thought I was really going to hate it, but I actually really thought that was very well handled, and it was a good character dynamic. It gets a little cartoony at the end, but at least in the establishment of the relationship, I thought that worked very well. So I think the fatherhood is an important sub-theme just to pay attention to the rest of the film. If you want to hear me talk about other stuff, like I said yesterday, you can go to my website, Father David Mowry. That's FATHER, davidmowry.com. I've got links to all my various podcast appearances in the Movies by Minutes community. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I'm at Father Mowry. That's FRMOWRY.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to hear more of your podcast appearances. I've heard a few of them, and they're always fantastic.
Oh, shucks.
And if you're listening and you want to hear more of these, you can. I think there's a website, moviesbyminutes.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you can check out our website, indianajonesminute.com, if you feel sorry for us. And otherwise, come back here Monday for minute 13. We're not skipping Unlucky 13. Minute 13 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Drama-wived frothy. Advent Friday whom. She sent me a lot of anagrams.
Oh my God.
There were more for my
was the
name?
best
Wow.
one.
I thought it was just the
Yeah,
three.
more
I'm
for your
very
name.
impressed.
Here's a good one. A hydrated, firm vow.
Whoa.
I don't.
Actually, that works because I think that's just baptism.